Hi, everyone, and welcome to the World of Women podcast. And this evening, we have a presenter from across the world. And he is joining us from Nigeria. And before we pass it over to him, I would like to remind us that today is August. We are already in a new month. Today is August the 2nd. And how fast this year is running. We are thankful for summer. And this podcast is brought to us through the World of Ability podcast in collaboration with Transform You Network and PARC. We are so thankful for the opportunity to reach our audience on this platform. And so today we have Joseph Afo from Nigeria. I'm sure most of us are already aware of our connection with Nigeria. I am from Nigeria originally, and the Zita's Healthy Beginnings was founded here in the United States for Nigeria as well as the United States. So we are so glad that we are having a presenter from Nigeria for the first time coming to talk to us about who he is, how he's connected with Zita's Healthy Beginnings, and what he is doing, both in our organization as well as what he does for a living. So I'm going to let Joseph tell us all about him, but a few things I wanted to mention. One of them is that Joseph is from Nigeria. He lives in the Middle East, what we consider Middle East of Nigeria. And he really loves agriculture. He is really a soul winner when it comes to helping young people to get connected to agriculture, to get connected to anything that will help them to exhibit their skills and talents. And one of them is what he is doing in our part, and that is the eastern part of Nigeria with Zita's Healthy Beginnings. So I will pass it on to Joseph. Joseph, over to you. Please share with us more about your profession, what you're doing, what made you actually to get engaged in what you are doing right now. You have about 20 to 25 minutes to talk to us about all that you want to talk to us about. And then we have our audience who are here who can also ask you some questions or make some comments. Over to you, Joseph.
Okay, thank you, Sister Zita. I appreciate you and everyone who have put this together. Okay, what I'm doing now, I started as far back when I was a child in the primary school in the city of Warri, Nigeria. So then, where I grew up is a big compound. It was a junkyard where they keep metal scraps. So you just managing with my mom then and all of that. So as at that time, I was growing yams in that compound. So I could remember vividly that time when some of my peers, they see me doing some things, and they call me farmer. You know, sometimes I feel bad, sometimes I feel shy because as at that time, we were made to understand that as a farmer, you will be very, very poor. So nobody wants their children or anybody connected to them to do farming. So that was the mindset then in Nigeria, especially where I grew up from. So you barely can find anybody who is doing farming and all of that. So the foods you have in that location are transported from far away places to that area. So as I continued, uh, I kept on going until I left primary school to secondary school, and I just forgot about all about agriculture. But somewhere along the line, after I got married, I saw myself going back to agriculture. What happened actually was that at that point, I was at a crossroad. So I needed to make some very critical decision because the finances then was very low. And where I was working, they were not paying salary for like 6 months. So I had to resign and look for something else to do. So on this fateful day, I saw a flyer on Facebook. So that flyer was posted by one of my senior friends, and the flyer was all about food processing and packaging. So, but it was actually a program for widows and widowers, an empowerment program for people in that category. So I saw the flyer, and everything about the program was very, very interesting. I needed to attend that empowerment program, but I know very well that I do not fall into the category because I am neither a widow nor a widower. So what should I be doing there? It was a very, very funny thing. So each time I think about it, so I said, whatever happens, I still have to attend. So I called the organizers and I appealed to them. I said, see, I know that I do not fall within this category, but please give me the opportunity to attend because I really want to do this. So the man laughed, and after a while, he said, okay, he's going to allow me to attend. So I made every necessary arrangement, and I traveled from the city of Warri to Lagos to attend the program. So after I attended that program, I came back and I swung into actions immediately. So then one of the products that we were trained was how to produce natural herbal cleansing drink with sorghum stalk. That's the stem of sorghum. So I said to myself that if we have this sorghum stalk, it means that there is a grain that is attached to this sorghum stalk. There's a particular grain it produces. What about the grain? So I went into research. I started researching about sorghum and I saw all the health benefits. So that was how I started producing sorghum flour. And as time progresses, I saw that I needed to go back to the field production full time, so which I did. So as it stands currently, I do the field production, which is planting of different.
I think it looks like we lost him. That's part of the problem we have in Nigeria. We don't really have a stable electricity as we do here in the United States. Sometimes the network gets so interrupted and one is left with little or no access to connect. So anyway, while we're waiting for Joseph to come back, I I am so glad to know what Joseph has shared with us, that this is something, his intention to get into farm work was initiated through what he started as a kid and as a hobby. And some of us, we don't really think that, that what you find fun doing could actually be your call, could also be the way God has given you your own life purpose. So it is very important for people to, when you're even struggling with what is my call in life, what is my life purpose, you want to first of all spend time in silence, in prayer, asking yourself, what do I really enjoy doing? What do I enjoy doing? Because whatever one enjoys doing is what you're being called to do in life. All you need to do then is to focus on it, see how you can really hone it, see how you can get more education, more support, more knowledge of that whole call, whatever that is. And it's interesting, we are all called in so many different ways. And it's not one, one size fits all. We're all unique individuals, and our gifts are unique gifts. So can you imagine how a young child started playing and planting yam? If you know, excuse me, if you know Nigeria and know how yam is planted, it can be tedious. And so for him, Joseph, to start that as a hobby, that was really a great call. And that was really a great skill and talent that he has. I think we have him back. Joseph, you can talk to us without your video. I'm not sure if your video was a problem.
I think the network just threw me out all of a sudden.
That's what I thought. That's what I was just explaining, that's one of the problems we have in Nigeria, is that electricity is not stable, network is challenging. So yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so as I was saying, I have to now go back to the field, because I saw that I cannot just function on the processing side. So I saw that God was actually taking me back to where I was coming from. So today, I don't just grow yams, but I also process those yams into different byproducts. So every crops I plant, I have the capacity on how to turn them into different food products, well packaged, that can be exported to different parts of the world. And now, as it stands, I've also had the privilege of consulting for some companies, both here in Nigeria and some different parts of the world, as it has to do with food processing, packaging, and also food safety, because I saw that as people begin to buy these foods, there is needs for me to upgrade what I am doing. So that was why I said, okay, let me go for the food safety course, which I did with the London Professional Training Institute. So right now, this is what actually connected me to the Zeta's early beginning and everything that surrounds it. Because I could remember vividly when I was talking with my auntie, Sister Liz, and then that was when I was in here to meet Sister Zeta. So she was telling me about her and what she is doing and all of that. I said, okay, that it will be good. One of these days I will connect to her. And eventually we got connected. And that was how I started consulting for the organization, running the farm and making sure that everything goes on well as it stands. So now we have been able to turn around the farm from what it used to be like to a different thing entirely. And currently, the vision I have for that farm is to make it a world-class agricultural tourist center, that people will come there and they will get accommodation where they will lodge so that they can take a tour around the farm. They can learn practical things about agriculture. They can do so many things there. They can process food and all of that. So we are not there yet, but bit by bit, we are going there. So the place is going to also become an agribusiness training school, because right now in the world of agriculture, what is actually making things to happen is the business of agriculture, which is agribusiness, because so many people, they do agriculture, but they do little of the business of agriculture, which is agribusiness. And that is why our parents, our foreparents, so many of them, they worked under the rain and the sun, and they had little or nothing to show for it. The reason is that they were merely into subsistence farming. They were not well enlightened on how to do the business of agriculture. Now, if you, there is a house in the city of Ibadan in Nigeria called the Cocoa House. That house used to be the tallest building in the whole of West Africa. That house, that skyscraper building was actually built from proceeds from agriculture. So one day I was saying to myself that this very building was built from proceeds made from agriculture. But then, what about those farmers, those local farmers whose produce were bought and aggregated at a point and were sold, and they got the money to do all of that? What happened to them? Did any one of them have any legacy that they left for their children and all of that their children can point to? So I said to myself that no, we have got to do things differently. So that is why right now, everything I do about agriculture revolves towards building a legacy, so that each time people come around any work that I have done, they will be able to connect with it in the sense that they can build wealth from it, they can build businesses around it, and also they can empower people. Because, for instance, let me take the Zita's farm as an example. Now, that farm already started creating jobs. So even though at the moment, what we have is just few hands employed, but it is creating jobs already. And then by the grace of God, we have the vision to expand that aspect of it, that so many persons from that community and even outside will be gainfully employed, and then they will be empowered, and so that they can actually build something good with their lives. Because agriculture already have all it takes for us to live a fulfilled life, because human existence cannot be separated from agriculture. Even if you are into technology, at the end of the day, you will still need to eat. So food is the primary need of man. A man may not have a roof under above his head, but first he must eat before thinking of how to get shelter. So this is very, very important. And that is why I have seen that there is no way you build an entity around agriculture with proper management and not make a fortune out of it, not just for yourself and your family, but to make people's lives better. Because with agriculture, I have discovered that it has a very long chain, because some people will be into transportation of agricultural products. So some people will be into the mechanized area. Some will be into processing, working at the production floor. Some will be in the field. So even in the field, there are different areas that people are going to function in. So these are a very long chain that keeps expanding. So it is a very big opportunity for myself. I always say that because I see that with this, I can touch life and I can connect to people across the globe. Because, for instance, if I am into making of household furnitures, I may not get contracts to make furnitures in America, very easily because right, they will have furnitures all around there. But when an American sees what I am doing in the field with crops, processing them, packaging them, they will be interested. I want to get a taste of my own way of doing agriculture so they can give me an opportunity for me to connect with them. So it is a global connection for me. That is how I see agriculture, because it has something in common, which is food that every part of the world needs to survive. So no matter what is happening, even during the pandemic, they were dropping foods at people's doorstep. They were not dropping internet services or clothing, all of that at people's doorstep. It was food. So I love everything that has to do with food, because uh, when God created the Garden of Eden, it was the primary thing he gave to man for man to survive. So I always see agriculture as the first profession that God gave to man. So doing it for me gives me great joy, and I've met so many persons from different parts of the world. It is a very good avenue for people to create jobs, if not for the kind of environment we find ourselves in. Agriculture alone has the potential to create millions of jobs in any parts where you practice agriculture, because uh, it breaks into different chains that bring people coming together to work. For instance, let me use cassava as an example. Cassava is no longer a crop that is meant for subsistence uh, uh, thing alone now. Cassava is now an industrial product, because from cassava you get ethanol, which is used for as a fossil fuel or industrial fuel. Now, those people at the industrial level who are processing ethanol from cassava, they have, like in some industry, they have hundreds of workers working there. So let's say, for instance, in Nigeria, we have 10 of such industry spread across the length and breadth of Nigeria, the numbers of workers that it is going to create. So even Zita's farm can also expand into that in the near future, because one of the area we are looking at in this coming dry season, when we are going to be doing clearing, and one of the extended parts of the farm, is that we are going to set up cassava farm. And that cassava farm, from there, we are going to produce different byproducts from cassava, like cassava chips, cassava flakes, all kinds of cassava byproducts, cassava flour, different things we are going to produce from cassava. So by that time, we are already planning that we are going to have some cottage processing machines available there, so that we'll begin to do something different at that level. Because if you go to all these localities, you discover that everybody's just doing the same thing. They planting cassava, and at harvest time, they harvest it, and they either sell it or do some things with it. But those people who are at the production end, they make a fortune out of the sweat of those people who are even toiling day and night to farm that cassava. Because by the time you add value to it, that is where you can actually build wealth. So the wealth of agriculture is actually in the value addition. So that is why I always want to encourage people, don't just do the feed production, but ensure that you incorporate into it the value addition aspect. Because with that, you are going to be blessing humanity. Because by the time you start thinking about people, other persons, how you can make their life better, then you will be blessed also. Because if you are going into processing, for instance, you are definitely going to need more persons to do that for you. So with that, we are going to creating more jobs in the near future with the Zita's farm. So in a nutshell, these are the things that I've been doing. So the feed production, production of crops in the feed, processing of those crops, packaging, food safety training, as well as consultancy services, and also empowerment of the youths and the women. Because in our society, if you empower the youths and the women, then you have stronger families, because these are the people who are like the foundations of the family, not the men now per se, because the youths who are into youth restiveness, all kinds of vices, are those ones that are idle and they are jobless. But if you use agriculture to empower them, then you are going to be creating a better and a safer society, and we'll have more of these products in different forms that we can export out of the country, because they all have export potentials. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for this information and the education you've given to all of us. For those of us that are not really familiar with Nigeria, Nigeria is located in West Africa, and we have what I will call our three staple food. One of them that Joseph just started doing when he was even little was yam, and the other one is cassava and rice. So now these three staple foods are the foods that even women use when they are trying to, when it gets to the stage when your baby is now ready to start eating some soft food. We have yam that you can mash. Yam would be something like potato here that people use. It's soft when it's boiled, and you can add some salt and pepper and red oil. So this is the first food we encourage mothers to start giving their babies. Some start that at 4 months or 5, but 6 months is the ideal time to start introducing some soft food. And I must tell you that these staple foods are lifesavers, because when you think about yam has different, we have different species of yam. And it's one of our tuberous plants, and we have cassava as well. Rice is a grain, and all this food, they come in different forms when they're being harvested. So say, for example, like I mentioned, yam, and Joseph has explained to us, you can have yam flakes, yam chips, yam plantain, yam pounded yam that you can use as fufu. So all these staple foods, people in West Africa, let me put it that way, really depend on this food, these plants. They grow them all year round. They harvest them. A lot of them do that as sustainable agriculture. When I was growing up, every household has a farm where they plant these plants. And what happens is you plant it during harvesting period, you harvest it. Some people are so poor that they cannot actually get some seeds or some of the things that you can save in order to plant more next time. So, and what Joseph is trying to explain right now is what we can do to expand the production. Now, we have a lot of women in Nigeria who are really very poor, to the point that they cannot even feed themselves enough to be able to breastfeed their babies. And when it comes to introducing like solid food, they cannot afford it. They don't have enough. And this results to having kids who are malnourished. So the idea of our community home farm for Zita's Healthy Beginnings is to provide that opportunity to women. And as Joseph said, to young people who most of them are educated and they don't have any jobs. But if we can really help them, redirect them, encourage and support them to really till the soil, put certain plants and grow it, not only will they have enough food for themselves, they will have enough food for the whole community. And what is that doing? It is helping us to stay healthy, to stay happy, and to stay financially sustained. Because if you're able to get enough food for yourself and then for your family, you can sell a little bit and get some income that will really sustain you and your family. Right now, that is not happening. So our hope is, like, as Joseph has explained, is that in the future, we are getting support from our friends who may support us to make sure that we expand this agriculture, which I know a lot of women have access to, and a lot of youth are looking for what to do to be valuable citizens, you know, so, and that distracts them from doing, keeps them away from causing other problems, and have them focus on what really counts. And what counts is food, providing food for yourself, providing food for your family. And then using that kind of all these plants we're talking about as a source of income. And we know that we have that human resources. What we do not have all the time is the seeds. We know, like, if you're planting yam, for example, you're gonna have to have some seeds that you will plant. If you're planting cassava, when you harvest your cassava, you need cassava stems that you can plant again. And rice, as we know, is green. You have to have those seeds as well to plant. Right now, as Joseph said, we have our 5-acre farm that Joseph is managing. And he has been educating, encouraging, and directing the people who are working in that community, trying to help them understand the necessity, the value in farming, in one, sustaining themselves, and ensuring that there is food security. As we all know, even here in the United States, there's food security issues. We don't have enough. And we know this place is industrialized, other parts of the world are not. And places like Nigeria only depend on what they can get from the land. And we try to help women to really pay attention to what people like Joseph is trying to help them learn, understand, and continue. I know some of the challenges they have will be why you've planted, you're waiting. How do you sustain yourself while you're still waiting for 5 months, 6 months, sometimes 1 year for the cassava, for example, to mature? And that is where we look for other resources for people who can support with the seedlings and other stuff, so that we will keep this project going. We have high vision for this project. This is a project we know that will take us places, that will provide employment to people, but also will bring help, wholeness to people, not only in Nigeria, but other parts of the world. When we eat well, eat healthy, one is able to live healthy, happily, and also sustain themselves. That way, they're not really depending on other people or the rest of the world to help them with, food. And the primary thing, like Joseph said, we must have food. Nobody lives without food. And we know that some of this food are not things that people can afford everywhere, every time. So that's why I brought Joseph today to talk to us about his plan, what he's been doing, what made him to do what he is doing. And I'm so glad to let everybody know that Joseph has gotten the certification even from Nigeria to produce some of this food we're talking about, to process it in a healthy way, and to export them. Things like sorghum we're talking about, we use that a lot for babies. It is gluten-free. As we all know, there are a whole lot that gluten is causing on our babies and even adults. The health benefit of gluten-free food is something that one cannot deny. So food like yam, cassava, sorghum, and rice, these foods are all gluten-free. And so we are so excited that that's what we plan to do in our own piece of land, and we hope to actually expand it. So I am really gonna open it up to our audience to please make your comments, ask questions as you will. We also have, you can also put your question here on the chat. We can pick it up if you're shy to ask here. You can put it on the chat and we'll get it and have Joseph answer. So this is our opportunity to ask our questions and make comments. And Joseph, please, can you put your information on the chat for us so people can connect with you, your email address?
Okay.
Your WhatsApp information, if you will. Okay, Hannah, I see your hand up. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. I'll make it.
Thank you, Zita. It was very interesting. Zita, I am a Rotarian. You've heard of Rotary
Yes.
International. I'm a Rotarian for close to 30 years. And we have supported Africa. You know, we have the polio project. And so I want to, let Joseph know that, can he reach out to, is there a Rotary in his area? Is there
You mean the Rotary in Nigeria? Joseph, do you know of any Rotary group in where you live?
Yes, I know the Rotary Club, but by the time, these people, there is a way, these international organizations, like the way they operate in America and Europe is different from where they have, from the way they operate in Africa. Like Nigeria, for instance, now, by the time if I approach now, it's all kinds of protocols and barriers and all of that. But the truth is that if there is something like a recommendation or something from anyone who is a part of it, it is going to enhance or speed up the process of getting support from them. Because all these organizations, once they get to Nigeria, assessing them sometime, because some persons that can be part of them, because they are into one some kind of or they have some connection with some government people and all of that, so they tend to be selective sometimes in giving certain assistance. And if you do not have access to any one of them as friends or as relatives, it becomes somehow very difficult for you to access help from them. But if there can be anything like a recommendation, it is going to help a lot. So that can be presented to them, and it could help to enhance our chances of getting support from them.
Yeah,
Right.
and I wanna really concur to that. And what I want to do that is because Hannah, I have worked in different parts of Africa for years, and I know how that works. with some groups. And say, for example, I did connect with some companies that work with oil companies in Nigeria. And I was told, yeah, they have their links in Nigeria. And the recommendation was like, okay, reach out to them and they should be able to give you some help, which I did. I wrote letters. I connected with people in Abuja and in Lagos. In fact, in Owerri, which is my capital territory, and got some people who communicated with me a couple of times, and that was it. And I kept calling them. I kept following up. This happened 5 years ago, and up till now, you won't believe, none of them really budged and none of them continued with the conversation. So there are some bias when it comes to one having a project from the United States, such as ours. People think that you have that money, so connecting with them in Nigeria and expecting them to fund anything is practically impossible. I know that for a fact because I have tried several times. So, but as Joseph suggested, if there's any connection that will happen here, or knowing people here who have people in Nigeria, because I believe all these companies and all these clubs have their links, they have their connections. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to getting to the grassroots, which my organization is one of the grassroots organizations trying to help people from down up, it's hard to get support. That I know because I have worked with the ordinary people. I've worked with grassroots, and it is really close to impossible trying to get resources for them. So yeah, I think that's why Joseph mentioned if there is any recommendation. So if there's any recommendation from your own Rotary International, with the Rotary International in Nigeria, that will make sense. We can follow that up, knowing that, it's coming from you, and how can we, how can they not honor that? So yeah.
I will connect.
Okay.
I will connect because we've supported Rotary International for years with all the projects in Africa. We have Doctors Without Borders. Have you heard of them? Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to take down Joseph's information.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Zita. I will get on it. I will get on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hannah. I appreciate it. All right. Anyone else have comments, questions for Joseph? Any questions, comments? You can, like I said, you can also put your questions on our chat and we'll get it from there. So we have Joseph's WhatsApp connection and his email address. So please, if you want to contact him, it's very easy because we have that information right here. And also one can also connect with our podcast through the address we've also shared on the chart. We really appreciate our audience who are always with us, supporting us, listening, and sharing our story. This World of Women was established because we want to take our message of supporting women and children to the next level. We believe that when a nation takes care of and pays attention to the health of women and children, that's an indication that that nation is healthy. And so how we want to continue to support that is through inviting people who have skills and talents that we feel will support us, give us valuable information, educate us, and empower us to continue to support women and children all over the world. This is a work in progress. This is also a challenging work. Like, we all know that women and children tend to be marginalized intentionally or unintentionally. And we know the importance of supporting them. And therefore, whatever anyone can do to support, to empower, to really encourage women to keep doing what they're doing. And that is raising families in a healthy way, raising their kids, and supporting everybody that lives around them. So this is what we do, and we continue to do it through World of Women podcast, which is brought to you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we are open to anyone who has any useful information, skills, and talents that may benefit us, to please connect with us through our email address, our website, our phone number, so we can keep this work going. We appreciate all the support we've received, and we are open to receive more, to keep building our local communities here in the United States and building local communities other parts of the world, like we are doing right now in the eastern part of Nigeria, and hoping to replicate it everywhere else in Nigeria and beyond. So I thank you all for coming. And I am hopeful that this work we've started will continue to experience progress, and that God will bless the work of our hands. All of us that are doing their best to bring love, peace, and happiness to humankind, that will be sustained as we reach out to the world with all that we've got. And that is our gifts, sharing it with our brothers and sisters all over the world. So does anyone have anything to say to Joseph? And Joseph, I'm going to ask you the last, to give us some last words here. So if you meet, or if we have any young person who is really wondering, farming, is that for me? Why should I farm? What words of encouragement would you like to give to people like that?
Okay, so for people in that category, or people who hold such kind of mindsets, I would like to tell them that, you know, in the field, there is also tech in the field. And doing food, you're also doing food tech. And the world will reward you handsomely, because you are going to keep them going. You are going to keep them stable, because one who is hungry will not be stable in his thinking, no matter how educated he or she is. So agriculture is a very interesting thing, and it is something that if you come into it as a young person with all dedication, it is only a matter of time you become an employer of labor. You will become someone that everybody will want to connect with, because you have the basic thing that they need for their survival. And it is something that every young one should even embrace, irrespective of their walks of life, because you should not buy all the foods that you eat. You should grow some of the foods that you eat. So a young person, for instance, like from Nigeria, for instance, can take up this thing and start doing home gardening. And from that home gardening, that person can be gainfully employed instead of waiting for the government to provide job and all of that. I have not prayed anytime in my life or hoping to or expecting that the Nigerian government is going to provide me with a job, because I know that with agriculture and with what I can do with agriculture, I will not only provide job for myself, but I will provide job for others, because I'll be doing something that anywhere I go, I can talk about it and people needs it, because I can take some clothing to some place to sell and they may tell me that, oh, they don't need it. But if I tell them about food, they will be interested no matter what it takes. So it is something that every young person should key into, because at the end of the day, even at old age, you need to even relax in an atmosphere where the air around it is purified. And you can have these crops like ginger crops and other spices that you can plant around that helps to purify the air. So these are some of the things that young people can key into and actually make a fortune for themselves, because it is something that they've not been educated about and they do not even know the healthy aspect of it now. So some few only know about how it could help to quench hunger and all of that. But the health aspect of it, they do not even know. And that aspect holds a lot of fortune. So I want to encourage any young person that will stumble upon this webinar to take it with all seriousness, to know that there is something very great in agribusiness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for that wonderful piece of information. And Joseph is one of the young people vibrant in Nigeria who are really making a difference. Yes, the country is really struggling, but like he said, you can really comfortably produce your own food, even at the comfort of your own home. And if you want to know why, and if you're watching this podcast and you're curious about knowing why, reach out to us and we can connect you with Joseph, because Joseph has proven beyond doubt that yes, it works, because he is young and he is vibrant, doing all of this and proving that yes, one can be, you can sustain yourself with the little you have, and that you can stay busy and be productive, trying to pay attention to what you can plant and how you can plant it. And we know that education, agricultural education is very essential. So please reach out to us if you have any questions, if you're interested in joining us, and we'll be calling upon Joseph to come from time to time to give us some updates, some education on how to plant different kinds of food and how to take care of plants and how to really make them productive, beneficial for ourselves, for our community, and for the global community. Thank you all for coming to this podcast, and I look forward to having you next week, Tuesday. And our presenter next week will be Deborah Myers from California. So, and we will, make sure that you come join us and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I appreciate your coming. Thank you so much, Joseph, for your time. I know it's late now. It's like 2 a.m. in Nigeria. So I thank you for that sacrifice you're making to educate everybody to see the need for living independently and being healthy and happy. So thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Zeta.
Yes. Yes.
Would you come to a Goshen Rotary meeting? I'm in Goshen, New York.
Okay. Is that in person or online?
Yeah, we're in person now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll contact you. We'd love to have you speak.
All right.
We would love to have you as a speaker and tell about your organization, because Rotary, we're a service organization, and we serve our community and the world.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, that would be great. I look forward to that, Hannah. Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll keep
Thank
in
you, dear.
touch.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Emily.
Right.
Did you?
The
Hello?
live
Huh?
stream is still on.
Sorry?
The YouTube live stream is still on.
That's what I was trying to.